Let's go, boys. So, 3 things you need to do to prepare to sell TCG products online. So, when I go on the Reddits, the YouTube comments, these random different pages, there's one thing that I usually see is skepticism in the comments. It's usually negativity. So, a lot of people say stuff like, when you sell these products, it's not going to be worth it. There's too many taxes or fees, or it's too complicated, or it's pretty much just FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So I'd like to give my top 3 or not even top 3, just 3 things you need to account for if you're going to go into your first year of business on TCG Player or on eBay or any TCG type of business online. So, number 1 is taxes. So taxes are important, and people are correct with that, where at the end of the year, if you've gone over a certain amount of sales, you're going to receive a form from these websites like eBay or TCG Players. Now, I'm not saying, like, let's say you're someone who is selling and you're only taking Venmo or cash, that's not going to be recorded. So I'm not saying to dodge taxes that way. But what I am saying is, when you do TCG Player and eBay, they will automatically send you a form. So if they're automatically sending you a form, IRS will have a copy of the forms they're sending. So you need to account for the cost basis of all the inventory that you have. Now, there's other things that go into taxes. What I'd recommend is you look online, you check some of these videos or resources that go into depth into some of these things. The ways you need to record your inventory, the ways you need to record your transactions. So it's very important that you do look into this initially. Now, I'm not saying you're going to have everything figured out. You're going to get to the end of the year and it's not going to be exact. So I would say look into it now so you have a great idea of how you can actually approach taxes. Spend 10, 15, 20 minutes on your way home from work, on your way to work, maybe while working, maybe while playing some video game. Just listen to some commentary and kind of get an idea. Look in some of the forums and see what it has instilled. Number 2, EV, past performance, and your expectations of the products you're buying that you will be selling. So what I mean by this, there's a couple ways to look into the TCG Player business. One is sealed items, one is singles, or 1 is sealed items, 2 is singles, and I would say 3 is miscellaneous products. So I'm only going to really talk about the singles and the sealed items. So what do I mean by this? Let's say you take a box of Lost Caverns of Ixalan a set booster box. So this box might run you about, if you were to buy just on the open market, about $100 plus or minus tax. And if you were to sell that on TCG Player, there is going to be some fees. So TCG Player is going to take about 13%, and then you're also going to have to pay about $5 to $10 for shipping, not including international fees. And obviously this is me as a U.S. customer or a U.S. seller. So with that, the only way you would profit on reselling this box is if you can get it for about, I would say, if you could sell it for about $130. That means when they take the 13%, you're losing about $15, $20, let's say $15. And then when you ship it, you lose about, let's say, $10. So you need to expect to lose about $25 just from selling it. So you need to sell it for $130 or more, and you're going to profit $5 from that. Now, a lot of other products have much better margins. So the idea with sealed is you want to buy as low as possible, and you want to hold for until you can profit, netting the fees that you're going to have to pay, which is TCG Player and also the fees from shipping. So that's why a lot of people like stuff like collector booster boxes and bundles, commander decks. These are items that you can buy. You can buy a commander deck set. I'm sure you saw a lot of people commenting on stuff like the Bloomborough commander sets. So you could have bought that at one point for about $120, $130. And if you had held, I believe the high was about $300, let's say a little more, but let's say $300. So at that point, you can sell it. You're going to lose the 13% fees. So that's going to be about $40 you lose. You're going to have to ship the product. So that's about $10. So $50 gone from $300. You're going to be getting $250 back. So you'd be profiting about $100 on that. So you would have had to buy the product, wait maybe half to a whole year, and then you could actually sell the product. So that's with Seal. Now, I know that number 2 is pretty long. Let's go into the singles. So if I were to open that box of Ixalan set, the box is going to have an estimated value, which is the average of opening many thousands of boxes, the average profit you'd get out of it, the average value you'd be getting out of it. So I believe the current EV for $100 of an Ixalan set booster box is $150 something. After TCG player fees, after shipping fees, you're going to profit about $20. You're going to receive about $150. You're going to lose the 13% fees and whatever shipping fees. So it's going to be about $120 you're getting back from that. So you're going to profit about $20 a box if you were to open, list the singles, and have everything sell. So that's about $20 profit. So with singles, it's a little different where, yes, when you open it, there's some work you have to put in. There's time you have to put in to not only sort, but list the singles. So it's not always good to be opening boxes and selling it. But if you have time, or if you need to build up your TCG player sales, then singles are a very good route to go. And I would recommend you look for a product that has a good EV. I believe a lot of Commander Masters products have good EV for booster boxes. So I would go into stuff like that. So that's number 2. If you need any recap of that number 2, just rewind the video, re-listen everything. Now, the last thing you need to account for that I would recommend right now in this video is bulk purchases. Bulk of anything you do. So that's opening up booster boxes. That's your shipping supplies, envelopes, stamps, anything you are going to be purchasing to facilitate your sales, you want to do in bulk. What does that mean? Sometimes when you buy cases of booster boxes, if you buy 6, you'll get a little discount if you buy the whole case. If you are if you need supplies, if you're going to buy like 50 envelopes, 100 envelopes, it's going to cost you more than if you buy 1,000. Same for stuff like shipping shields. I use shipping shields for my inserts when I'm shipping singles. And if you buy more, you can get a lower piece price. So you can get that piece price down from 15 cents to about 10 or 9 cents. Now, it might not seem like a lot per order. It's only about 4, 5, 6 cents. But as you do more and more orders, you will go through all of these supplies. You will have to reorder eventually. So that's the same with boxes. If you're shipping sealed, you're going to need boxes. I would recommend anytime you have purchases from stuff like Amazon, you keep not only the box, but you keep the filling, the cardboard paper filling, any airbags, bubble wrap, all these things you want to keep. And one small note I'll make is if you have a box that perfectly fits what you need and you have just the perfect amount of filler so that you can pad whatever item that is, the lighter the filler, the better, you can get the shipping cost when you print that label down. So if you have a big box and you ship an item, even if it is only about 10 ounces, you might have to pay more than if you have a slightly smaller box. And of course, the heavier the box, the more you'll have to pay. So that's pretty much it. Those are my 3 things that I would recommend if you're getting into the TCG player, TCG online sales market space. And those tips will go a long way. These are things that you're going to have to figure out eventually. So that's all I have for you. This is me starting something new, so I know it's a little cliche, but please please comment, subscribe. Comment's going to be the best. Give you any input you'd like to give, and I'll catch you on the next time. Peace.